Greetings, race fans, and welcome back to SVR's S2 division. We are here for round 8 of our 12-round championship, and we're at the fantastic circuit, the Spa-Francorchamps, with Thump leading the championship on the way through round 7. 2 wins to his name on 90 points total, now 8 clear ahead of former leader of the championship for much of the season, Yank the Tank, on 82, who is only 2 points ahead of Scavvy in P3. Jogon Sim is in 4th, ahead of Jailhouse Chris, Hobbit, Nigel Mansnail and Sir Grinch, with a very tightly packed competition over P4 in the championship at the moment. Anyway, Senor Dude is in 9th, Liquid Gecko in 10th, Nintendo, John Pawley, Biggerwood and Ron Giles making out our 14 permanent drivers, give or take the odd substitution here and there. In terms of the teams championship, we have PSV Racing on 160 ahead of Brocargo on 149, Mega Racing 143, Igala have 112, yet to break 3 figures though, Hector Motorsports, Gecko Racing and Team Cyan. Well, we're looking forward to seeing how the S2 drivers fare over the course of their race distance here at Spa. And here we go then, looking at the qualifying conditions and the qualifying positions and the tyre choices available to the drivers. So starting on the back row is Monsieur Keith of PSV Racing. He's starting on the soft tyres, and we have Lord Souza, who is reserving up from the rookie division. Look to see if he can manage the additional power and rear axle looseness that we experience in the SF23. Also, of course, fuel management over the course of the 22-lap race. Soft tyres for him as well. Same deal for Thump, who starts on the penultimate row of the grid, not where he wants to be at all, but also starting on the soft tyres. And the first from the back driver on the medium tyres is Biggerwood. Fresh off his driver of the day and podium performance from the previous round. We have Nintendo, who's on the mediums likewise for Igala on P10. Nigel Mansnail in front of him, also on those mediums with John P on the softs in 8th place. Alongside of him will be Jogon Sim, starting on the soft tyres. We have Black Evo on the mediums, Yank the Tank on the mediums, also on row 3. Up to the fastest drivers in qualifying then, at least, the 27 of Scavvy on row 2 in P4 on the softs, with Hervas reserving up as well, who you will see on screen as P Dios. I will refer to him as Hervas as much as I possibly can throughout the course of the race. And then on the front row of the grid, Hervas' teammate, Senor Dude, the Canadian driver, who is starting on the medium tyres likewise. And some relief, I think, for Sir Grinch, watching this back perhaps, will be that most of the drivers in his vicinity, pardon the pun, are on the medium tyres like him, and the Grinch helmet, of course, as we've come to get used to. Absolutely. So it's 22 laps around Circuit Spa-Francorchamps. Very cloudy, humid day, but as far as I was aware, certainly in the S1 division, no actual threat of rain. So we will see if that holds water and whether we get into that situation later on with any weather. But here we go then for 22 laps, round 8 of the SVR VR Sim Racing World Championship in the S2 division. The 5 lights are building. We're ready to go racing. Long hold, and it's dropped the clutch, and go, and straight away Sir Grinch was slightly slower with the reaction, and screaming up the middle comes, I think that must be, well, it's certainly Hervas going very, very deep on the inside line. Lots and lots of contact through the start of the race. Let's go back and see perhaps how everything worked out from the very back. That was a great getaway from Mushoki. What a launch he had. And then it's about pick your lane on the way in. You can see a Nagala Motorsport car there caught completely on the apex. That looks like it was potentially Senor Dude. It was, who had a bit of a spin right from row 1. And that has got to be incredibly frustrating for him. Turns into the corner, and then there is that typical Spa pinball effect, possibly triggered by his teammate for today, his reserve driving teammate. Let's have another look at that. Here comes Scavvy down the inside. Great start from Scavvy, and Hervas makes contact. He gets contact made with him. as well, so certainly not all the blame on Hervas, but not the best start for our S2 drivers at all. But the pole sitter, Sir Grinch, gets away relatively cleanly as they run up the Eau Rouge Radion section and onto the main straightaway. It's long rumoured that being in P2 is better down this Camel Straight on lap 1, and it seems to be the way here for Scavi, who's using the overtake boost on immediately. Sir Grinch to the inside, down into Les Combes. You can go too wide through here, but Sir Grinch managing to hang on to the lead of this one. Nigel Mansell making a move on Black Evo into Les Combes as well. Lots and lots of changing in position as we've come to love in our second tier of racing this season, both in the SF23s and in the GT3 cars. Looks like Senor Dude escaped any damage, but right to the back of the grid, making an absolute mockery of his qualifying strong performance into Pouhon, and it looked like Hervas was going to stick the nose into Pouhon corner there, but thankfully he was a little bit too far away to make any kind of major overtake, or at least risking a collision. Absolutely beautiful cars running with these great camera angles here in GT7. Biggerwood in 11th. We've got Lord Souza. This is definitely going to be an interesting tale to see. Several rookie drivers in the field today reserving up. Looks to be a very popular weekend to be busy around the SVR Championship. So Grinch has a good lead over Scavi, who's also now using that boost once again. Through Blanchimont we go, and on the long run towards the bus stop to finish out lap 1. It's a long old lap here at Spa. That looks like Mushokeef from the absolute back of the grid. Mushokeef is in P6 after lap 1. Insane start from Mushokeef on those soft tyres. That has worked, an absolute blinder. I'm really tempted to go back and see his lap 1. I think we probably will. Is that fair? To certainly see his launch as he goes screaming through and managing to, well, almost a complete stop there from Mushokeef. That is the benefit of being careful on the way through the start. He gained further positions. Absolutely brilliant from Mushokeef there. Look forward to his post-race evaluation and summary with his highlights post-race on @PSV-Racing on YouTube. So check that out and do be a subscriber to that one, of course. Here is Nigel Mansell, hot on the heels of Hervas here. I'm very surprised to see Hervas playing defense on the soft tyres already, but perhaps they are already dropping off as he hasn't used much of his overtake. No, Hervas is on the mediums. Forgive me, Hervas, but not using the overtake boost at this stage of proceedings. Being passed here, at least by Nigel Mansell, and I think certainly Scavi got by or stayed ahead. Down into the spiralling downhill Rivage corner we go. You can see that from the start-finish line even. From the order, as we see Mushokeef in 6th, as we previously mentioned. Black Evo with the Scion Racing team celebrating Pride Month here. Jogon Sim and John P sticking together here so far for Hector Motorsports. We've got Biggerwood in 10th, Lord Souza in 11th. Senor Dude recovering to 12th already as Nintendo and Yank the Tank have had problems. Igala have had the poorest look as a team combination, I think it's possible to have, and I don't know where something went wrong for Yank here. He was 5th at the start of proceedings as we see him come through. Oh, he pitted. Must have picked up damage then for Yank. Let's go back and just check the car from here. Yeah, front wing damage. Absolute nightmare start for Yank the Tank. What a shame. What a pity for Yank to suffer that particular situation then. As he runs through. So that is Yank the Tank on the end of lap 2. This is riding on board with Sir Grinch as we go through to the terrifying Eau Rouge and far more terrifying Radion corner section as we run through. But he's a-okay at this stage with a good healthy gap over Scavi, probably able to at least combat any boost that Scavi might be using in his slipstream. Here comes Nigel Mansell on Thump down the inside. Thump defenseless at that point. Big surprise to see Thump not fighting that one, but another PSV car who has absolutely scorched off the blocks. Thump up to P4 from near the back, certainly the penultimate row of the grid. Thump looking absolutely amazing in P4 on the soft tyres at this early stage of our long endurance race. Big bumps coming out of out of Jackie Ick's corner. That, if you ever wonder why so many drivers go wrong on the exit of Jackie Ick's, it's because of those bumps and the curb on the outside that the bumps will push you onto. This is Jogon Sim on Herbas, who's currently going backwards down the grid from row 2 down to P6 at the moment, and trying to hold on to that P6. Here comes Jogon Sim, who has the benefit of those soft tyres for a short period, maybe 3 laps, that the soft tyres are better than our mediums. The Hector Motorsports driver number 60 here for Jogon Sim. Black Evo staying within touching distance of the front of the grid, and we've got John P in the 22 in 9th place. Checking out where Lord Souza currently is, showing very nicely as Senor Du trying to make his way up through the grid. Senor Du to the outside in the bus stop, no way through. Biggerwood, great defensive work there from Biggerwood. Got the largest Union flag on his back wing that he possibly can. I don't know if that's annoying to Senor Dude as he follows the Canadian. Not a lot of beef between Canadians and the UK drivers at all, but Nintendo and Yink the Tank having to rebuild their races from the ground up here, both electing to go for the medium tyres right now. Yink had to change onto them from fixing the front wing after the first run, but here is the battle currently for P1, and that's the soft tyres of Scabby against the medium tyres of Sir Grinch, who has held the lead from the very lights out section of the race. Nigel Mansell in P3. What a start, and a great looking race at the moment for both Brokaga and, following them, the gold team of PSV Racing here. Thump still on those really strong soft tyres for now. The rain clouds and the mist gathering at different points on the circuit, different altitudes on the circuit as well. We'll just keep an eye and see if we do get any weather. Thump shaving the bollards through Le Fagna that time round, but no way by at this stage. Love to see the cars flying past those static track camera positions. And he continues then. Thump can't quite get to the slipstream on the back of Nigel Mansell. You can just see up front you've got Sir Grinch still holding off Scavvy for now. But great to see so many front runners able to run together even after 4 laps of Spa, which has a tendency, this track, to spread the field out. Small errors leading on to very long straights tend to elongate various gaps and exaggerate the problems. Here comes Sir Grinch then through the fabulous Eau Rouge Radion corner. Nigel Mansell followed very closely by Thump. Let's join Thump on board here, see if we can't get ourselves a slipstream. Got a fantastic slipstream, but we're using the boost as well. Wait to see him on camera left. He'll feel like he's got the gap there. Great overtake from Thump. Needs to collect the car though, make sure that he doesn't do the classic error of overtaking, missing reference points, and spinning or at least losing grip when you finally made your way by. But it's early stages here. Lap 5 of the race. Nigel Mansell in the Brokaga. Of course, Brokaga, 2 consecutive years of sponsorship, official sponsorship with us here in our 3rd season of SVR. Excuse me. They've been a title sponsor since the very beginning, of course, Brokaga, but with a title name, and I think the best livery yet that they've been able to develop. Here comes Mr. Keefe, starting at the back, and he is now in 5th place. The soft tyres will be starting to degrade. We'll be looking at those cars starting to twitch, run out of grip, and I think already you've got evidence here that in the middle sector that is grip limited, highly aerodynamic and drag requiring that the soft tyres are starting to give up here, and Nigel Mansell now straight back onto Thump. Unfortunately, though, of course, the gap in front to the first and second positions is opening as they delay each other. Next up, then Nigel Mansell. In fact, we'll watch from Mr. O'Keefe's perspective on the active gyro cam that points at the apexes, where you want to be looking. A lot of right-hand curb there from Keefe. He's got the power down, he's got the overtake boost, but so has the car in front. Nigel Mansell will do to Thump exactly what he had done to him last time round, and that, even though we're watching the cars overtake in front, Mr. Keefe with a personal best sector. Now he's got to be super careful because his teammate was offline, and he needs to try to play defense and not run into the back of his teammate. Playing defense turns into the corner. Little bit of contact between himself and Joe Gonsim, and neither driver willing to yield through here. Joe was a lot slower into Jackie X than he would normally be, trying to avoid contact. Keefe both drivers looking like they might have a case there that the other was maybe suffering a bit of lag or acting a little bit less than predictably as they're side by side. Really hard to take any kind of blame through that. Here comes Hervas though, P7, and really has struggled with this first stint and this new car. Certainly new in championship race conditions. Hervas was watching, I believe, was at the Spanish Grand Prix on the day. Couldn't partake in his normal rookie race, but instead elected to reserve up anyway, and so made it home in time to race, but obviously didn't have the normal kind of preparation period before a race that perhaps he would have liked to have had. And we continue to focus on Joe Gonsim. Still on the soft tyres, they're still working reasonably well here for both him and the car in front, but at this point Pete Dios and Black Evo on the medium tyres will start to have a distinct advantage again, as I mentioned, in that middle sector of this historic Spa-Francorchamps racetrack. Joe Gonsim with a good run at the moment, not using a lot of boost, relying solely on the slipstream until he pulls to one side. Interesting tactics there from Joe, just getting the tail ahead before they turn into the corner. That leaves Hervas trying to follow him through, risking a penalty, and certainly more than anything risking his position, and Black Evo playing an absolute blinder and finding his way down the inside there. Let's have a second look at Black Evo's trip through here, just watching what's going on in front, waiting, going wide for a narrow exit through Malmedy corner and into Rivage, and it looks so easy, but that was all about preparation from Black Evo there. Scavy has allowed Sir Grinch to get away from him a little bit. That's down to tyres, I think, more than anything between the two of them. And here we have Thump in P3 and Nigel Mansell chasing him down still. Soft tyres on Thump's, mediums on Mansell, and Joe Gonsim having got by Monsieur Keefe. I'm not quite sure how that one happened, but Nigel Mansell in fourth position and in a good place here. So Grinch on the mediums, Mansell on the mediums in the 81. And I'll be hoping that works out well. There is a very nice little subtle look at the back of the car there. I just noticed little Pride season rainbow flag. I don't know if you can quite make that out on the above the diffuser rain light. We'll try and get into some sunshine here. Well, that's a backlight anyway on the back of the Bro Cargo car, but I've just noticed that, which is great to see. SVR, safe place for our LGBTQIA plus community. Very proud to have several members who are long-term members of the league. There you can just about make out that rainbow strip at the back, so congrats to them, appreciate that, no end. And there is Nigel Mansell then with a fantastic run over the top of Radion, round the outside, down that Camel Straight is already level here, and then Thump's using the boost, I believe, to stay with Mansnail to the outside. They didn't fancy running side by side. Mansnail cuts back, and it is certainly heating up between these two right now. Love to see it. Lap 8 of the 22. Surprised personally to see the softs still in play here. I don't think the drivers are going to try and one-stop this. It'll be a two-stopper, but they will have to manage their fuel loads as well. And there is a very up-close view of that new Brocarga livery. Outside, inside, can't find a way by. Thump putting his car in just enough of the right defensive positions to make it a pass impossible, despite what I think Mansnail to have better grip right now on those mediums. But he needs to perhaps take the opportunity here to not play boost games, to not hit the loud pedal quite so prodigiously, maybe even turn the engine down while you've got that slipstream, and just wait patiently. That all depends, though, whether he's got an engineer who can tell him what tyres Thump is on, because we have significant gap here. So Grinch in P1, Scabby has pitted and is outside of the top 8 now. Senor Dude, who had a full-on spin at the start of the race, currently in P6. Thankfully, avoiding damage and staying on the medium tyres has definitely helped. Some of the pit stops are in operation right now. I would imagine some drivers are planning on a 2 sets of soft tyre run here. What just happened for Hervas? Let's have a look. He certainly ran wide. This was the old Fernando Alonso Spa start route here, where he used to make no attempt whatsoever to make the exit of the corner on lap 1. And he would always gain positions as a result. Here goes the Black Evo side by side. It didn't work out for Hervas. Down another position then. Net loss again for Hervas, despite the fact that other drivers in front of him have pitted. We've got very close running at the end of that Camel Straight into Lake Com. Once again, Thump is making life very difficult here for Nigel. Nigel running through Lake Com and Malmedy down to Rivage Corner. Doesn't look like it's as downhill as that static cam makes it out to be, but it definitely is. And you often look at, there's the bump through Ix and onto the exit of the corner, and then tracking, following. You don't really want to be this close through Pouon Corner, following another driver, as the dirty air effect takes a huge amount of your front wing's performance away through a corner where you are speed limited by the amount of drag and an aerodynamic grip that you have dialed in to your downforce settings. Now we've got a good exit. This is a good opportunity out of Stavelot for Mansnail. The track is nice and wide. Should be room to go side by side. He's navigated to the inside line on the way through Blanchimont. That is the shortest run, but you can absolutely hang out on the outside here. He'll need to cut back to the middle of the track, and he does exactly that on the approach to the bus stop. Makes life difficult for Thump, and it looks like now Nigel Mansnail, lick of flame, I think that was, coming out of the previous corner. Thump still doesn't go into the pit lane at the end of lap 9 on the soft tyres. Might be planning a one-stop here, possibly Thump, given how late into the race he is running. 2:02.9 that last lap, which was over a second slower than his best for him, as Mansnail managed a 2:01.4. Let's see how Thump can or cannot hold on to the back of Mansnail as we run down this long straightaway section before hitting the brakes into Lake Com. For the merest moment, we were seeing the S1 drivers braking at about a 30-meter point on the soft tyres. I'm just not brave enough to do that at all. I can't think of a single car I could do that in, let alone the SF23s. I'm running past our camera position. They go. Thump trying to hold on, I would imagine, to the end of this 10th lap, and certainly for him, the medium tyres should last the distance. Then the car will be lighter on fuel, and he got managed to get 10 clear laps on the soft tyre out of the way, and has put in a very, very good performance so far. Anyway, Thump in P3, knocking on the door of the podium. Let's see what happens though as he comes on through. Hervas in 4th now, Senor Dude in 5th, Black Evo in 6th, Scavvy having pitted, looking for the undercut on Sir Grinch, but I think he was probably too far away. Currently though, he put in a 2:05 out lap and a 2:01.7 on his first flying lap. Let's contrast that with Sir Grinch, 2:01.1. The undercut is not on at this stage. Sir Grinch just getting quicker and quicker. He has managed a sub 2 minute lap, 2, 3, 4 sub 2 minute laps so far. Sir Grinch untouchable at this point. And let's just check in with his current championship position. 1 win, 1 third place so far. 68 points sees him only in 8th, but a second win today would put him in a tremendous place for the championship. Sir Grinch in the Gecko Racing colours, the 236 with that of course Grinch helmet on. Nigel Mansell now has extended the gap then back to Thump, who is continuing to use that boost and staying out once again here to the halfway point of the race. It will be for Thump to switch on to the soft tyres. We've got some close running here. This is Senor Dude. I thought it might have been Hervas, but it's Senor Dude past Black Evo. Same age of tyre. What a tremendously strong race Senor Dude has been having so far after that last source exit on lap 1. Hervas evidence perhaps that he's burning through these tyres a little bit too much at this stage. He's got caught a bit of a tail snap there coming out of X, did Hervas. And we can just check back to see Senor Dude and Black Evo. Scavvy, fresh tyres on the Brocarga machine. Biggerwood on the mediums he started the race on. And Nintendo in 9th. It's going to be very interesting to see how this race works out in terms of strategy. Lord Souza in 11th, Michel Keefe in 12th. He has stopped off the soft tyres, unlike his teammate Thump. Yenk in 13th, Jogon Sim, fresh tyres for him. Yenk a second pit stop just now onto the soft tyres, but he'll do well, Yenk, to take these softs to the absolute end of the race. Jogon Sim at the back of the grid right now, and Sir Grinch has picked up a half-second penalty, perhaps the only thing he's done wrong so far today. And Hervas takes 3rd place with finally the pit stop of Thump at the halfway distance. That was a very strong soft tyre run from Thump, who is leading the championship with 2 wins, 2/3 so far this season. Senor Dude now 4th position from the back, of course, after last source on lap 1. Black Evo staying very tight to the wheel tracks of Senor Dude as he runs here for, of course, the Cyan Racing team. Not quite sure why there is an R on the front of Black Evo's car. I don't know if you see it on the nose there. It looks like a Team Rocket kind of single letter. As I say, celebrating Pride Month there for the Cyan Racing team. The most prideful liveries that we've got so far anyway. Here's Scavvy, P6. Biggerwood from near the back again, but he's in 7th place now. Thump in 8th after the pit stop. He's got some good clear air in front of him, Thump. So 2:16 his in lap. There's still the out lap for Thump. John P has gotten himself pretty close to Thump with that earlier pit stop, wearing the purple era Lewis Hamilton helmet. Is John P in the purple of Hector Motorsports. Lord Souza's in 10th and Michel Keefe is in 11th. We see the Agala Motorsports cars 12th and 13th. It's not been a particularly fortunate period of the season for Igala. I've got to say, relatively low scoring at this point. A classic Spa view of a car appearing from the horizon line of Radion there. Segrinch staying on these tyres. I would imagine he'll stay for a couple more laps because he doesn't want to have wild moments on the softs at the end of the race. But a 202.2 on lap 12 will just give him pause, make him think that maybe he's on the wrong tyre at this time. It's very difficult to track the gap to your main rival when they have pitted on a very different lap to you. So whether Segrinch could be asking our AI engineer. Whoa, huge snap from Mansnell. What a save from Mansnell that time. Absolutely love to see this as he comes through Rivage corner. Power down. Momentarily he was at about 95% throttle while on the curb, but a great hold, and he will certainly be thinking about a change of race suit after that moment. But he survives to a 1.0. An impressive lap that time from Mansnell in comparison to Segrinch, who has progressively gotten slower since lap 4, pretty much. Mansnell's been very consistent on his lap times. Just want to check out. So while Segrinch did a 2:02, Thump has just put in an unknown time. He's actually on his lap right now. So a 16 and a 2:07, the in and out laps for Thump. This is the point in the race where, with a clear track in front of him, no cars to lap, Thump can really put the hammer down and try and undercut Segrinch, who's going longer, of course, starting on the medium tyres. If Segrinch had an engineer right now, he'd be monitoring that gap and saying, do you know what? Forget plan A, which was to go to, say, lap 15 or so. I don't know, maybe. Come in now, get on the better tyres and defend your track position away from Thump. Or the question is, go longer and have the freshest, grippiest soft tyres for a fight back if Thump has already done enough to get by. 2:02.1, perhaps that isn't enough for Thump to get by Segrinch with a 2:02.4 and a 2:02.2. So it does look like Grinch certainly on a good run at the moment. Here's Senor Dude and Hervas. Senor Dude moving aside for his teammate there, despite being on the same strategy, and Senor Dude being in the better position, well, obviously in the championship. Senor Dude needing these points much more than his rookie teammate Hervas, but perhaps feeling, Senor Dude, like he needs to save some fuel and do some running behind of Hervas. Unfortunately for them, though, Black Evo is arriving on the scene here, and this is not good for Senor Dude's championship to no longer have a rear gunner. So I'm kind of fascinated by what's happening here, because Black Evo doesn't care about Senor Dude's position in the championship. Black Evo reserving today and equipping himself amazingly, I'd have to say, for switching codes, just like Hervas, who looked a little bit out of character, a little bit shy, or a little bit on the slow side for someone like Hervas in the SF23s. I think he's really gotten into his rhythm though now in the third of our race, as it were, the final third of our race. Senor Dude in P3. Segrinch has yet to pit, and they all come into the pit lane together. And actually, that looked like Senor Dude might have just been slowing down more than Hervas and Black Evo around of him. So Segrinch stays out for the 15th flying lap on the same set of tyres. Scabby is out on his second set of tyres. The gap between them, virtually the run from La Source to the top of the hill between Segrinch and Scabby at this stage. But of course, a pit stop still need to be made from Segrinch. Nigel Mansell now in P3. And he overtakes the drivers in the pits at this time as they feed out of the pit lane. There goes Hervas at the bottom of the hill instead of at the top of the hill for the 24-hour layout. Thump gets a position on Senor Dude, and Thump on the up to temperature mediums will have Senor Dude on brand new softs directly behind of him. Senor Dude is going to make use of those tyres immediately and uses the overtake to get by Thump. That's got to taste a little bit sour for Thump there, who went long, but possibly didn't want to be in this traffic position with the medium tyres on. So going very deep into the race on the soft tyres, unfortunately hasn't helped him with track position. P6 now for Thump, leading our championship. The one upside for him is that his closest rival, Yank the Tank, is way back in the grid, despite having the fastest lap of the race so far, Yank. But Scavy, Thump is also thinking about in a title race, who's only 10 points behind him and only 2 points away from Yank the Tank going into this race. Thump down the inside, holding on against Black Evo here. And Senor Dude already gapping Thump to a huge degree on those brand new softs. Thump is going to have to trust the process and put a lot of faith in his strategy. So Grinch finally pits then at the end of lap 15 with just 15 litres of fuel remaining on the car. Wow, I'm concerned about his fuel consumption. We can't refuel here in the S divisions this season. So that is the fuel he has for the rest of the race. 15 litres seems a long way to try and go for the remaining 7 laps of the race. Hervas and Senor Dude are line astern once again. Looks like on those new soft tyres, Senor Dude absolutely on fire right now, and I think hoping to use Hervas' slipstream to slingshot him by. Both drivers have not used a lot of their boost, but remember that the more boost you use, the more fuel you use too. We have had the situation where drivers are finishing towards the end of the race, hardly having used the boost at all. Black Evo might be tempted though right now, just for track position. Brand new softs for Black Evo to the outside of the championship leader Thump, and Black Evo reserving today, clearing Thump. I think they'll still side by side on the way into the braking zone, but the favourable position there for Black Evo, and almost Thump outbraking himself to the point where John P nearly found a way by as well. As we go back to the group at the comparative front of the grid, so Grinch has come out of the pits way behind of Scavy. Scavy's on old medium tyres with a gap of, let's have a look, try and find a static point near the track. I think that's 7 seconds or thereabouts to Grinch. So that's a big gap to close in for Grinch. He's held on to a bit of boost, but not a huge amount more than Scavy has. Looking forward to this one as we run to the finish. Here we have Nigel Mansell in P3. Strong performance from Nigel. 7th in the championship. 2 second places so far, but a relatively poor scoring round 7 for him. Here is Hervas, guest driving for his Mega Racing team in S2 today from his normal rookie seat. He has cleared Senor Dude. No, he stayed ahead of Senor Dude, who is clambering over those curbs. That's a dangerous game to play, but they have at least gapped Black Evo. Thump can't switch the car on these medium tyres. Thump is having a difficult run at the moment. The GM badged PSV Racing entry. John P in 8th. Behind him, you've got Biggerwood fighting with Mushakeef. Mushakeef to the inside into La Source. You can do a switchback or go all the way around the outside here. Sometimes it is favourable to be on the outside exit, and then you've got that beautiful slingshot. Let's ride the roller coaster with Biggerwood. Flat out. The only reason the engine dips is because of the change of the aerodynamic demand. Very nice run there from Biggerwood. Let's see if he's made it all the way by. On the way into Lake Com, little shimmy to the inside, just an early turn-in situation there for Biggerwood. Nice and controlled. P9 at the moment, Mushakeef from the back to P10. But we've got a lot of action happening in these final few laps, it would seem. Certainly the strategies have very much converged to the point where we've got a lot of action. Thump down in 7th now. The race that promised so much early on for Thump I'm not sure that the strategy is working at the moment. We've got Grinch in P2. He's already gained probably 2 seconds on these new soft tyres to the car in front, well within view as we run. And we approach Blanchimont corner now. Try not to be distracted by the foreboding clouds above, because Spa, even if your radar says it's not going to rain, and you know that it's not going to rain, you really don't want to believe anything, because it's Spa after all, and it can rain at any moment here at Spa. There is Grinch then, personal best by 8 thousandths of a second only, one better than a James Bond gap as he runs on the way out of La Source here for the 18th time of asking. 5 racing laps to go to retake the lead of the race, to potentially bring yourself into contention for, I would say, even P3 in the championship fight, as we have 4 rounds left, just 1/3 of our championship left after the summer break. This is the way to that you want to be running your race and your season, to get better and better through the course of the season, to leave for a break on a positive note, give you that extra motivation to practice and get yourself in the best shape possible with setups for the run to the end of the season. So Grinch on running down through Rivage, following Scavy now. He's got to be feeling confident here. He can't see Scavy's red roll hoop light, which tells us watching that he is in his final 20% of boost. But then Scavy can see the red roll hoop above of Sir Grinch, so he'll be feeling like, well, worst comes to the worst, he's on a similar amount of boost remaining to the car that I have. Hervas, what a performance from Hervas, stepping up from his fantastic rookie drives in the much lower powered Adrian Newey designed Red Bull Junior race car into this SF23 with boost and much more downforce and brake horsepower as well. He's in P3 somewhat, and I'm sorry to say this, Senor Dude, but somewhat showing up, Senor Dude, today. At least. Here goes Sir Grinch to the inside into the bus stop. Not the best way in there, but he's got a good exit on the outside of the second part of the bus stop as they run down the short chute down in towards La Source. Scavy trying to push him as far offline as he possibly can, but Sir Grinch completes the move over the course of 3 corners. But will Scavy be able to find a way by here as we join him on the nose? He's even too close to run into Eau Rouge and Radion. He actually sticks the nose into Radion, and that is so risky when you're not fully alongside. You're in the blind spot of the driver you're fighting with as he goes for the move to the left-hand side. We see Sir Grinch down into Lake Calm. Beautiful line from Scavy. You can see just how much Scavy wants this one. Has not won yet this season, and Scavy will be desperate to correct that stat, so to speak. Our second divisions have provided us with the absolute most entertainment, I would say, of each racing weekend here at SVR. So competitive in comparison to our other divisions. Our seeding and our testing has worked so well, and I think also the drivers have made a big step up in pace and performance. I don't know about comparing race times and distances and things over the course of season to season, but some of our drivers in their second seasons are having the best time here through the double right of Stavolo, and Sir Grinch makes his way by. That's a highly unusual position, and Scavy goes on the inside into the approach to Blanchimont once again. This is great to see. Hervas is creeping up on the back of these fighters down the inside this time for Sir Grinch, trying to stay on that parallel run, and they check each other out on the with the heads turned on the helmets. Brilliant to see. You know that's exactly what the drivers in VR are doing down the inside into La Source. It's like a demonstration run between these two, but here comes Hervas, who's going to be licking his lips with this opportunity. Massive amount more boost available to Hervas as they continue side by side into Eau Rouge and Radion once again. Who dares cut across the front of one of their rivals here? This is brilliant to see. I love it. As here comes Hervas with that boost as well. Not even using it particularly. Scavvy holding on. Here comes Hervas to the inside. Can he get 2 for 1 into Lecom? Oh, it's just a little bit of contact into the corner there. This was from a huge distance back. So Grinch had made his way by, but Hervas thought, you know what? I really fancy this. I think that was too far back from Hervas. And he's pitched it round. He's pitched it round, and wow, insane stuff. Let's have another look at that from his teammate's perspective as he comes through. This is Senor Dude, sees his teammate clambering on the curbs, and as far as Sir Grinch is concerned, he'll be absolutely incredibly grateful that car ghosted it at the precise moment he could do absolutely nothing to fight him off. If Hervas has any kind of weakness in his rookie division or in other divisions, I think it would be at this stage a little bit of racecraft, a little bit of patience when making overtakes. He's very young, is Hervas, and he's very new to mixing it with the very top echelons of our drivers in these divisions, especially this car. But take nothing away, what tremendous pace he has had in this race. Scavvy with the lead at this stage with not a lot of fuel left on board the car. Medium tyres that are still worse in terms of outright grip than Sir Grinch, who uses the boost once again. And we continue then as Hervas is back in front of his teammate there. But Senor Dude did almost beach the car in a very deep gravel pit on the exit of Malmedy. Here goes back. We've seen this several times already. They know each other's lines through here. But Sir Grinch changing it up a little bit, putting himself on the outside this time on the approach into La Source. Did a switchback rather than run parallel. That hands the inside line, of course, to Scavvy. And they condense down into the pinch point of La Source. A little bump on the inside there, meaning that you don't always want to be on clipping the exact apex of the corner. Scavvy ahead again. Sir Grinch, it's now hunt or be hunted for the final 2 flying laps of the race. Back with Sir Grinch as we run side by side here with Scavvy and in towards Lecom. Late on the brakes from Sir Grinch. That was close. That was very, very close. They made contact and they will be crestfallen to see Hervas straight back into the challenge, and Hervas dives down the inside into Rivage. Is that overspeed at the corner? I think it might be a little bit too much. Scavvy trying the outside-inside cutback. Didn't quite work. Hervas mixing it here and actually helping bring his teammate into now a 4-way battle for the end of this race. Absolutely brilliant. There's so much going on at the rest of the race. I'm sorry I can't bring you 7 different driver feeds or race feeds at once. Nigel Mansell now has the fastest lap of the race, but we cannot take our eyes off this top 4 battle for the podium here as we run through 1.5 laps left to run. Sir Grinch now has a gap on Hervas. Sir Grinch has virtually no boost left. Hervas has spent quite a lot in the last couple of laps to leave himself with just a little punch left at the end of the race. No pun intended there with Thump, our championship leader. But Sir Grinch leading on the way in. Now, is this a good place to be? Well, you take it, leading on the final lap. But as they cross the line, the gaps are definitely challengeable here. Hervas will be within striking distance into Lecom. Sir Grinch will be feeling horribly nervous of a dive bomb. But I would have thought by now, by the look of things, on board here with Hervas, as it says on his halo. I love that. Thank you. I need to sort mine out, actually. Not that I spend a lot of time in this car. Here we go then. Through Eau Rouge and Radion. Only a tiny bit of boost being used on board with Hervas. try and get you a better camera angle. He's already all the way by Sir Grinch. As we head down, Sir Grinch is tempted to the inside. That's very late on the brakes for Grinch. Could have just given this race to Hervas. I don't know that Grinch has got a lot left to fight with. He's on the absolute tiniest amount left of fuel. I hope no one is going to run out, but certainly Sir Grinch has the least fuel of anybody here on the run into the end. We're only halfway round this long Spa racetrack. How about this for Hervas? Maybe one blot on the copybook. Hard for me to judge that one. We'll have a look post-race. But here is Scabby in P3. Would love to take advantage of anybody running out of fuel. Senor Dude is ready, knocking on the door of the podium, but may finish fourth if things run to the absolute end here, as we would expect. Sir Grinch looks like he's lost ground to Hervas. Hervas has won so much in the rookie division. Can he take a step up and win on his first SF23 race for the season so far? Here we go then, running through Blanchimont corner. Sir Grinch trying. He's absolutely out of fuel. He might be able to coast to a finish, but there's no fuel remaining in this car. Hervas playing it super safe on the inside line, on the way through the bus stop, side by side, and there's contact. There is contact. That cannot stand. I'm sure that cannot stand to the flag. Let's wait and see from this car's perspective. But there was definitely a almost pit maneuver style contact, not deliberate, I'm sure here. So Grinch can see Hervas playing it very safe. It could have been netcode, but ultimately on the line, Sir Grinch wins with virtually no fuel whatsoever. Scabby home in second, Hervas crawling home in third. Massively disappointed with Senor Dude in fourth. Black Evo, great performance in fifth. Biggerwood, how about this? Another great performance from Biggerwood, up into sixth place. He's not unhappy with that at all. Looks like a last lap overtake here from Nigel Mansnail on our championship leader Thump. A day to forget, certainly second half of the race to forget for Thump here, who has not been able to get these medium tyres working. As he goes down the outside for Mansnail, it's running parallel, it's over the curb, and Mansnail secures it at the line. P7 ahead of Thump in P8, and that was mighty close to a finish. I think possibly even Mansnail, no, he didn't run out of fuel. Here's Mashukif in 9th place to cross the line ahead of John P. Yank the Tank will be home in 11th, Nintendo in 12th, in 13th even, as Jogon Simmons clearly had some sort of issue there at the end. Anyway, Lord Souza in 14th, but the podium across the line at least was Sir Grinch, Scavvy and Hervas. Wow, there could be post-race investigations for Hervas into Les Combes and for Sir Grinch out of the bus stop. We will go and have a look, but that is your finishing order provisionally anyway. Let's go and find out what happened as a result of that race. I'm going to go ahead and view the race results live with you here. Congratulations to our drivers for a phenomenal performance and tremendously entertaining route. As I can see that it looks like the race view is still pending. We'll have a look at any investigations that are currently underway. No further actions between Sir Grinch and Hervas. What does it say? The cars may not have physically touched, pointing to netcode. Oh, that's going to hurt for, certainly I would say, for Hervas to lose a win to a bit of netcode at the end and end up third through no fault of his own. That's a tough one for him. Hervas and Yank the Tank had an issue on moving under braking, and I'm surprised to not see anything from the Les Combes incident that we saw fighting for the lead of the race either. But hey, it all depends on whether drivers and teams decide to go ahead and report things as well. The stewards can't investigate things that are not being reported by teams. Mansnail and Thump under investigation. Hobbit or Mr. Keefe and Yank the Tank under investigation, as are Yank and Hervas there for moving under braking. Now, I don't know the ins and outs of that one, but there is your your provisional finishing order as the final classification, yet to be announced at the time of recording. Well, thank you everybody for watching. I really appreciate you always. Leave something positive on this video today underneath, and go ahead onto my channel and do the same if you would be so kind at WebboRed5. But for now, from me here, Webbo, and from us at SVR, S2 will resume naturally, but after the summer break. But we aren't done yet. We have GT3 racing for the following weekend. So we will see you for S2 the week after the 9th of August and Monza. But for G1, we'll be back on the 21st of June for the Nürburgring 24-hour. So thank you so much, everybody. Thank you for watching, and we will catch you on the next race day.